The goal of this video is to show how this program works. I'm going to clone this repository. Then move to version 1.0.0. First thing I will do is to run Elasticsearch on port 9200. For that, I will use Docker. Okay, I will run this command. To start a new container. And then if we wait a little bit, we will have a running Elasticsearch instance on port 9200. Now I'm going to create the INSEE index. We are going to execute this file. Okay, so now we can go to /INSEE and you can see here the database schema of the INSEE index. Now we are going to download French def records and index them in Elasticsearch. So in this example, I will only download one file. Okay, this one. Then we are going to move the file into the data folder. To transform this text file into a CSV file and then index this file into Elasticsearch. I recommend you open this file with RStudio. And you execute it line by line. So now that the transformations are done, you can see in the CSV folder we have a new file. Now I'm going to open this script. So it opens a connection to Elasticsearch, and this script will output JSON files in this directory. So for each CSV file, it will transform them into a JSON file. When the transformations are over, you can see in the JSON folder that we have new JSON files, and we are going to send them to the bulk API of Elasticsearch. So let's go into Elasticsearch and we're going to execute this file. So it expects the folder names, and what is going on is that all the JSON files are being sent to Elasticsearch. So if you go to this URL, you can see here the number of documents, and if you refresh, you can see this number is increasing, so the documents are being indexed into Elasticsearch. So the program has ended, and you can see the number of French dev records that have been indexed into Elasticsearch. So this is the number of records for the year 2019. So now that the dev records are indexed, we are going to try to predict if an hospital record is matched or not with a dev record in Elasticsearch. So I'm going to close this script, and now we are going into this folder, probabilist, and here you have an example. So the first thing we need to do is to load dependency. Here it's a number of documents that will be returned by Elasticsearch. These are the thresholds that were set based on the evaluation that we did at the Bordeaux hospital. So here the record is transformed, and at this step, so a request is sent to Elasticsearch with this query template by default, and so we have dev candidates that you can see here. These candidates are then transformed into features with these functions. So now you have here all the candidates but transformed with features. So we add the Elasticsearch score to the features matrix, and then we use a deep learning network to predict the probability of each record, and a random forest prediction. And then here we check if any probability is greater than 0.4, and if both probabilities are greater than 0.4, then we are going to save the results. So for this example, the ID of the patient was 1. So this is here, and the match dev record has this ID, and this is the probability of the random forest. This is the probability of the neural network, and you have here upper if or not it is both probabilities are greater than 0.95, then it's above the upper threshold, which is 0.95, so you have upper equal 1 here. So if you need information about this dev certificate ID, you can just copy this ID and go to your browser and just copy and paste the ID, and Elasticsearch returns you the dev certificate with this ID.